Hello, my name is Reverend Joseph Andrew Jensen, and I'm weighing in on Elon Musk having a discussion with the New York Times, Ross Sorkin, and I completely agree with Elon. I don't even care about his language; it's appropriate because that's everybody's voice comes from God. But Elon's got to be straightened out about something. Killing is wrong. I don't care if he's talking about Israelis. I don't care if you talk to anybody, hostages, if you're Hamas, if you're Hezbollah, nobody dies in this world. This doesn't matter because God lives in all of us. Okay, understand that, Elon. You have to understand. If you are trying to pick a side to kill, you're not doing God's will. You're doing man's will. Okay? There's other ways to do it, and that's what I'm doing financially. Let your money do the talking because no country's going to be able to avoid going bankrupt. I'm going to bankrupt every country, depending on what you do, depending on what Donald Trump does, depending on what Satoshi Nakamoto does, depending on what Jeff Bezos does, and the richest people in the world. You nine people, chosen people, have a directive from God. I'm going to give you on Friday, and that is the directive. If you all follow it and you follow it as well, you're going to stop the war immediately. Okay? You're going to stop advertising. We're going to stop advertising in its tracks because everybody that gets a God's coin, which the world's going to be required to get a God's coin, are not only going to get your phone, but they're also going to be using be a voter, and then we can really see by the vote who boycotts Jeff Bezos if he doesn't give in and help all of Africa, who stops North Korea, whether it's going to be you or somebody else. In that case, you'll be, God's not going to abandon you anyway. He needs your stuff. Tesla's going to survive because he needs everything you developed. Because you developed it with an innocent heart, listening to God. But now you're weighing in that you're still supporting killing. All your stuff that you developed for some superiority. Your jet that goes Mach 7. Your super things that can designs to go warp speeds, not Mach but warp. That's what we're talking about. You got the militaries of the world because you got satellites up there in space and you control space right now. The world doesn't control space, you do. And you need the money. You need God's money. Do it financially. Don't do it by killing. They can't kill if they haven't got the on an empty stomach. They can't kill if they have no bullets. They can't kill if they don't have. Nobody can fight. Donald Trump invented that method. Nobody can fight without money. So what I'm saying is to you, in reply to this, yes, we're going to bring down advertising. Yes, we're going to stop Israel. Israel has got cannot kill no more. They can never even claim God at all as long as they're killing. Neither can Hezbollah in Saudi Arabia or Iran. But I'll negotiate with any country that stops killing and makes a promise not to kill again. And this goes for North Korea, it goes for China, it goes for Japan. I'll bankrupt the countries. Somebody, I'll do it the way it's supposed to be done. I'll bankrupt them. The people will bankrupt them by choosing God's coin. When the people become independent of government and they're the voters, guess who's in control? The world's in control of them. Advertisements, you got the way out because you have a separate internet. That's a pure internet. That's void of advertisers. You decide who's going to advertise, and the only person that advertises on your channels is you. That's a beautiful thing. Your phone drives your equipment, drives your stuff. Your homes are all associated with your thing. I mean, my God, this last five things you've invented, one of them hasn't got a steering wheel or pedals in the car. It strictly comes, picks somebody up, and delivers the people to where they need to go. That's wonderful stuff. Wonderful uses for AI to create things, not to destroy things. And if you do create it to destroy things, it's a threat because you have jets with pinpoint accuracy. Pinpoint means you don't have to put it on people, but you can put it on a rowboat, and you could take the motor out on a rowboat, on a boat, on a SEAL team's vessel, you know, raft, what do you want to call that thing? You can take out the engine without hurting the crew. Saying, no, you can't get away from us with pinpoint accuracy. You know how to put an army down by sound without killing the person or harming the person. And there's all the ways technology, you're so much more advanced because you see, I'm trying to teach you this. You have been listening to God. He's been the inspiration. I think you understand that. You've been looking for God. Don't look no further than yourself. God's right there inside you. He's been with you all the time. Your imagination, your dreams, your hopes, your desires can't happen unless you had thought of the idea. You couldn't have thought, and you can't think at all unless He had fired the synapse of the brain to allow you to think. And that thought that you have in your head, God gave you that thought first. It went through God. When He had something to tell you, that's when you didn't have it. You didn't have any voice. He was strictly talking to you, and you was listening in that dreamland because that's how God talks to people. He doesn't allow you to talk. You just listen to the dream, and then you go. Then you talk and say, "Wow, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to build a spaceship. I'm going to build this." You're right now working on the hydrogen engine. That's in my book. That's what Michael too did in my book. That you'll read and you'll enjoy that book. Hydrogen engines. But you gotta build the hydrogen and store it offshore. Bring it in carefully from offshore. At least that's the only way I know. If you could design an engine that has just holds water and it can safely go through electrolysis on the car itself, and the hydrogen produces enough energy to run that car without being explosive to everybody around us and everybody in it, then that's a great thing. But it's not the best thing in the world to try to make plants and have mass storage. It's better to come in on a cargo ship and transport it very safely to the stations. you know, it's to handle very carefully. Hydrogen fuel is very explosive. It's very explosive to make. Robotics is the best way to make hydrogen because nobody will get hurt if a lightning strikes a facility or something like that. The transport. More importantly, we're talking about advertising right now. You're gonna have control advertising. If everybody in the world has your phone as a voter and your internet, they can't weigh in. I can shut down Amazon if Jeff Bezos doesn't go along with God and bail out Africa. I simply bail out. I simply have everybody quit buying from Amazon. How long would he last? I mean, the lawsuits alone would be unbearable to his detrimental, I'll say, to him, because he has to do it. If you keep talking, you're actually going to put yourself in jeopardy. Put yourself in jeopardy of doing something wrong at this critical point when I'm about to give you a message. You haven't been building this stuff in vain, and it hasn't been happening in vain. What I've been talking about, and what I'm doing right now, and I just got through going to each time 30 days, just about 30 days in each country. I started in Africa, spent 30 days in Africa, went back to the United States. I was in the United States for less than 30 days before I went back to Cairo. I went from Cairo the first time. I went back to Cairo, and I went from there to Jordan to Petra, and I stayed in Petra, where I stayed with the Bedouins, and I love them. They have a lot belief like mine. They know that God lives inside us. The Bedouin are great people. Oh, they do little things. They're mischievous. Like they make their own. They make beer and they can make liquor out there in the desert, and they could use it for trade and they could use it for themselves. Even though other uh, Muslim Islam religions can eat alcohol, drink alcohol, but that's just one of their tricks. They do another few things, maybe eat a little pork or something like that. They're not they're open minded. Let's put it that way. Very open minded, but they're very spontaneous and adventurous people. That's where they live for God. They go to the desert to be with God. They live for God in the real way. They're not traditional in the way that even when they're gambling, it's telling all the. I'm telling on the Bedouin, but they're great people because they 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 give all all the room in the world. I mean, these guys are traveling with a job to do. They have a job to do, and that's they mingle. They bring stuff, the illegal things, the things forbidden things to some people. They gamble. They just let her have fun. I mean, they live to go to the desert on their animals and be kind of mischievous. Mischievous. Well, that's where you're supposed to live. God doesn't want to micromanage you and tell you can't do this, you can't do that. It's the opposite. God, like he likes, he's like a child. God's almost like a child, and so are the Bedouin. A lot like me. I guess I'm gonna say I don't like. I don't want to take this. Don't take this wrong. But if I'm gonna be called something like a minister, I guess I would be considered a sheikh, whatever you call it, because I do talk to to the Islam and Muslims, and they do listen to me. All of them are listening to me, even the ones that are fighting me against some of the Quran. I'm not so much against anything in the Quran, except for the fact that if you recognize in the Quran, there's 40 prophets that come from the Torah and also the Bible, Jesus, written in the Torah. Where did they find that out? Where did Muhammad learn that? Because he spent 2 years in Ethiopia. Ethiopians are Jews. and they're Christians. They were the three wise men that followed the star that found Jesus in the manger, and they followed Jesus from the manger to the cross. So that makes them Jews before and uh, um, Christians. So that, but the problem of it is the Catholic Church and Paul. They didn't. They're not. They're not following Jesus Christ or the gospel. They're following Paul's words, the words of the Antichrist. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, but the church doesn't even realize what it's doing. It has no idea that they're following the Antichrist. And the Pope and the Catholic Church, they're involved, highly involved, with the Illuminati and Pope. Not all the popes were involved in this, but the recent Pope for sure. They wrote inside the New Testament. I mean the Old. In Genesis, rather. They wrote in Genesis, the new Genesis, that everything on earth was built for our pleasure. The animals, to torture, to eat, to do whatever they please, or the plants, the animals, the trees. No, the first Bible when it was written said we were going to be caretakers over the animals, caretakers over the trees, caretakers over the world. But that also said that changed now to everything was created for our pleasure, and we have free will to do whatever we please. What happened to thy will be done? Anyway, I'm just going to watch this. I had to make this short. Elon, you're on the mark. You're on the mark. About the advertising, you're straight on the market. You'll be controlling that soon, depending how fast. And we can get everybody in this world to get God's coin. If we work together, we can all have God's coin, and a whole be way so much money available to us. You'll have three. This is say you'll have four E to the 39th with 39 zeros. Let's just say four E to $39. Won't be actually dollars. I guess it'll be Chinese yuan, renminbi, whatever in China. And you'll have that much based on what you have in China, what you have given in yuan to North Korea and South Korea. That war will be ended, and they'll be united. The Ukraine's going down without another shot from Putin because we'll stop him because of the money, the threat of the money. How bad? You got a jet that flies um, Mach 7. What military can stand against you with surgery taking out aircraft on the ground that aren't being even driven? Nobody has nothing to fly. I surrender. You can hit targets anywhere with the precision things in those jets. You even got a jet that can fly warp speeds. So I guess I don't. You got it or you got it in development. This is what I'm talking about. I personally are trying to build a nuclear engine that'll power a house or power a car. We have to use up the nuclear fuel. Sure, we got to use water. Sure, we got to use what you're doing now, solar. But it's not. But we have to also use up the things that are hurting us, and that's radioactive material. To stockpile radioactive material, we got to continue creating it in plants to use it up, and then take its byproducts, spent fuel, and we have to the low level radiation. We have to make it even smaller and start putting it into smaller devices that run household reactors. Even make it small enough to put in cars, not electric cars. I'm talking about nuclear cars. We can build a safe enough reactor to put in a car, and look how much smaller it would be. We have to use up the nuclear fields. That's what God's told me. I'm the messenger, remember? I'm telling you what God says. He put the radiation here, but we haven't used it up. We are to have it dangerously stored, and it's meant for us only small period like fossil fuels to be used up. Now it's time to get rid of it. Fossil fuels is leave it be. Hydrogen, it has to come after we got rid of the problems. First thing problem we need to do is get rid of nuclear. Next, we got to get rid of fossil fuels. Everything fossil fuels. Then we have to figure out hydrogen. But even hydrogen is a limited supply. Well, not hydrogen, but helium. We have to quit using helium so much. We can use helium, but it's a limited supply. Things like that. But we have to talk. I need to talk with you. I don't know you. You don't know me, but we need to know each other. And I need to tell you about God before you mess up, because right now you're answering to a world that has no business asking you questions. You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have no explaining to do because you don't have the answers yet. The only thing God's doing, directing you to do, is to build these things. Remember, when you're building something, it's God's directive. You're only giving God hands. You're giving God your feet and giving God a mouth. But you need to watch out about giving God your mouth, because you don't have to answer to nobody. Just keep on building. Let God do some of that. I think God has control of my mouth, because I had the power to speak in tongues at one time. Still do. But I realized too, what tongues is, that's when God talks to me. Now I don't talk. Now I don't pray in tongues, because that's God talking to me. I'm listening to God even more accurately. I'm listening even more accurately, not just blurting out something out my mouth. No, that's God. That's always been God talking to me. I didn't realize that myself. These are things I've had to learn. And you can't really speak for God until you can talk to God. Because I am the spokesperson for God, and I know how he's saying. And now he doesn't quit talking to me. He talks to me night and day like a sermon. He tells me what to say. And he also tells me while I'm saying it, answers the questions. You can't ask me a question I can't answer. I can tell you the future. If God lets me know the future, I didn't even know have you on mind until a week ago. But because God wanted me not to get in a conversation with you yet, because you're the one that's going to change, be one of the players changing this world. So is Jeff Bezos, so is Donald Trump, so is Satoshi Nakamoto, even Warren Buffett. You see what I'm saying? These you guys are the ones Bill and Melinda Gates. they're going to end this thing it- or being offered to end this thing in Palestine. If they do it, guess what? That means the Bank of America, they'll be using the dollar in Bank of America. It's not a problem. We'll figure it out. Everything. I don't know what is going. Everything that's going to happen because God's not letting me know until right at the time. I just know what I got to do every day right now, and that's to tell you what I know for now. And he just led me to your video that says you must see the New York Times with this Ross, whatever his name is, and he wants you to take the side of the Jewish people. I just went there to stop the war and stop them and I tried to get them to throw me in jail or commit me. I challenged them. I went to Israel to die. I mean, I, I didn't go there to die. I was going to Palestine. You'll read it, my stuff, but the idea is we need to just kind of watch it right now. I need to meet with you. I need to see you. And I'm putting this on the video because you got to see this, Elon. These advertisers and these people trying to, they have as much business getting between you and God as you when you're driving a car. They have no business getting between you and driving a car. You're driving the car. Don't let anybody in between you and God. Keep on doing what you're doing. Nobody has a right to try to mingle into your affairs. Nobody has the right to go into anybody's affairs. And you're the ones that's going to stop the advertising and the soliciting. Because God has to tell you the whole story of what to do. Let God work with you. You just need to start understanding how God is. He's inside you. And right now you're randomly letting the media get under your skin and get into your business. They're the ones on the phone while you're driving the car. They're the ones telling you to turn around or back up or take sides. Don't do that. Don't compromise. It's just you and God. Drive the car. Don't let nobody in between you and God. Don't go to church. Don't read a book. Don't ask questions. None. You can't trust any of that. That's going away from God. God's inside you. Inside you. Not inside anybody else. Don't get involved in that drunk. If you're going to church at all, it's to share what God's done for you that week. For them to learn, you to be teaching them. The word repent is not for the congregation, it was for the preachers. That was the word repent, for the preachers to turn around and quit talking for God, but to listen to God. But they did the opposite. They talk for God. They make the decisions for God and tell you what you got to do. That's the opposite of what their job is. They have no right to tell you. If for the Muslims, that means they have no right to tell you you can't drink. They can't tell you you can't eat pork. There is something that's in the Quran that is true. That is very true. They say even a bad thought separates you from God, which is true. You understand? I'm gonna turn this off now. I'm gonna put this on YouTube right now, and you'll see it if somebody gets it to you, or if you say thing. And this is one. This is strictly for Elon Musk. You or your battle with with Israel and battle with the media, social media. You just said you was gonna put them to the test. Let's see who decides. That's exactly what I'm doing. The same, of course. I'm giving everybody the power to vote and give a voice to God with your phones on an internet that is not compromised, just like a Bible or a Torah or a Quran. It's non-compromised. Not yet. Don't let it get compromised. Don't let your internet get compromised by people. You tell them what you want you to know. Don't let them talk to you. It's your internet. I mean, you got cars that can drive themselves. That's your. That's what God's giving you. That's what God's giving you. He's giving you everything. Realize who's giving you all this information. That's how God's been talking to you. You've just been the hands and feet of God. And the mouth, not so much. Watch what you say until God comes into your life and gives you um, the awareness to talk. Keep your mouth shut if you can. I mean, he's not going to tell you you have to keep your mouth shut, but be aware there are poisonous. And until you get the power to defend yourself against the media, wait till you got the phones in everybody's hands, the voters behind you. Wait until it just, and that's going to happen overnight. If you 9 guys go along with this, even if 5 of you guys go along with this, the other 4 will go along because they see that you guys went along. You understand what I'm talking about? You guys light the fire. Somebody got to light the fire. And when you guys light this fire, you're going to get your phones in their hands, your internet on your vehicles, everything you do. I'm getting really nervous. I can't even hold this phone, which you can see. But the point of the matter is, I got to go. But you and I are on the same wavelength, but we have to meet. We have to meet each other. I can straighten out a lot of things about God. Your belief in God and your belief in aliens. I can explain it all. But you have to give. We got to get together. Everything fits. I once built a puzzle, 1,000-piece puzzle. I was only 5 years old, and it took me maybe a month. I don't know how long, but my dad afterwards. I built it upside down, put it together upside down. My dad pasted cardboard on it, and after 2 days, the family got to see it. It was the 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 picture of the White House with all the presidents on its board. But I built that puzzle upside down. Only 5 years old, and that's what I'm saying. We got gifts, every one of us. Tesla and Edison, they both were autistic, just like you and I are autistic, just like Ford and Etzel were autistic, just like Abraham Lincoln was autistic, Ronald Reagan was autistic. Einstein was autistic, but he was dyslexic. My God, I mean, I probably even, uh, I don't even know if Helen Keller knew God, but probably did. Knowing her, she did. But I'm just saying, some of us, it's beyond belief that they didn't Gandhi, for instance. He like thing. I mean, how could he not believe in God? He's always looking for God. He says, I've never met God or seen God, but I'll always be looking for God. When God's inside himself. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, I'm looking all over the place because I don't know. I have this phone upside down, so maybe I can hear it better with the volume. That's why it's shaking around. That's why I don't know where to look. Because it's not in a natural position. I can't even afford a microphone. or proper camera. I can't even afford a phone right now. But I'm going to soon be way on richer than you are with God's coin, because when I make you rich, so I get a duplicate coin. If I give you 4e to the 30 God's coin, 4e to the 39th zeros behind it, I guess what? I got just as much as you do. You don't have anything over me. But I don't want the money. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not here to advertise it. I'm here to get to the world, to free the world. And the same, you and I got the same goal, to get the world from messing with us. Let us live our life with God individually, one on one, to give us all the convenience that we're able to produce to live the best life we can ever have, and get rid of the dangers of this world. The criminals they'll be turning themselves in. You'll learn about the coming clean. Everybody, uh, you know, coming clean. You're already gonna be learning next week about going all in. That's for you and me. I'm all in already. Now you got to come on and go all in. Once you get to go in, I'm going to give you the money to build anything that you could dream of. Plus, you can build my dreams. I mean, build some of the things I have about the radioactive, reactors. I was in that for 35 years as well. We have them both amazing lives. I spent 35 years running Canes, and I spent 35 years running in nuclear, driving overhead cranes in nuclear is where I got started. I actually got started by being a mechanic, and went from being a mechanic. Of course, I had to drive the cranes, but I was at a nuclear power plant where I started driving the cranes. That was like in 1981. But you see what I'm talking about? Anyway, I gotta let this go. It's a confusing video where I'm looking all around, and it's gonna be a disturbing video to watch. But listen to what I'm saying, and I hope that you can even send me a plane ticket just so we can meet each other and talk. Please, I need to talk with you. We got the same goal, and we can do it overnight. We can do this thing overnight, like a thief in the night, is what the Bible says. Making sense of it. I'm going to push the button. I'm going to shake it around and push the button and turn it off. But please, Elon, give God a chance. I'll get the world. We're going to get the world off of you, and they're never going to be able to restore themselves. All the theology's going down. All the speculation, all the judging, all the pointing fingers, all the I'm saved and you're not, or you need to do this. You don't. They need to repent, not you. You just do. You're already doing what God already told you to do. They're not doing what God said to do. They're doing. They're preaching their will, not God's will be done. Okay, so these are the things I need to. I need to talk to somebody that's smarter than them in this world. I need somebody to talk to figure some of this stuff out. And that's why God has me talking to you right now. Okay, good night.